What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Friday. I don't know, what are we calling this? Friday recording. We covering market news, some looking at some charts. Today, we're flying solo with Andrew. Our fearless leader, Jan, is out for the day, so we're carrying on without him here. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. If this is your first time here, Acquire.Fi, we are the largest M&A platform in Web3. We're also one of the largest OTC desks, so we help companies buy and sell assets, whether that's their entire business or OTC deals for their token. But yeah, it's a little bit about who we are and what we do. We do these videos every Tuesday and Friday, kind of try to cover some of all the major charts and the major news, keep you up to date on what's going on in the markets. So welcome, everybody. Give us a like and a share, helps do all the algorithm boosting stuff. How are we looking in the markets today here, Andrew?
Man, it's been pretty rough the last few days. I'm not gonna lie. It's we've had this war tension between Israel and Iran, so it's still causing a lot of uncertainty in the market. We had FOMC, which was pretty much as expected, no rate cuts, kind of more of like a non-event. What we noticed was that the market was de-risking quite a bit. We got the Iran scare, and then during the FOMC, pretty much a lot of market was just kind of taking off the positions. And now we're just kind of sitting right back into support levels. So, when we first came back here, last week, we talked about this reload zone being kind of area of support, and then we kind of bounced right back out. Then we kind of lost momentum again with the FOMC and like the war stuff. And now we are just kind of sitting right against this support again. So, if we are bullish, if the bulls are still here, this is kind of where we want to start seeing consolidation or breakout. So ideally, we form some kind of W, right? Some kind of double bottom structure to kind of help define the levels. But at the moment, as you can see, there's really not much going on. So really just waiting to see some kind of like, price structure to give us the confirmation that like, hey, this is ready to move back up. But at the moment, it's looking kind of weak. Really not much going on. We kind of came into these like reload zones on the top side, typically where you're going to see short and resistance. So we failed against it, and now we're kind of playing this little ping pong here, little range. So really just waiting. I think the market's like still waiting on, Iran and Israel to kind of chill out. Seems like the tension's still pretty high over there. And I don't think the market can really do much until that's kind of done. There's no real big kind of macro events outside of that I think. Maybe like tariff stuff that might come save us, but yeah.
If we break 100, what's kind of the downside target in your opinion?
Man, I hope we don't break 100, because if we break 100, that's going to confirm this massive double top. And then, if you go on the weekly, then that means like it's going to be a pretty big weekly M. Generally, when you get these weekly double tops, it's kind of game over. Like kind of like how we got back there. We don't want to see that. Sorry, it's really hard to see here. But as you can see, we are slowly putting in possibly a double top here on the weekly, which is not what you want to see. So if we do break that and we do go low, my levels that I would be looking for is probably that 38.2 for a stop level. It's kind of right against this previous structure that broke out from. So that's around 97K. And then if we do lose that as well, then, we do have the 200 SMA a bit lower. But as prices come down, that moving average should, also come back up slowly as well. Ideally, if we really want to be, playing this strategically, I'd look for these reload zones, right? And that's around like 88 to 82K. It would kind of suck. Don't get me wrong, if prices do have to come back down all the way there. But again, if we're looking from this bottom to that top, realistically, this is kind of the area where, major supports should be coming in to step in. So right now we got this range here. Hopefully we don't lose those lows and we can hold this structure. or if we do break that, then probably have to come down to this 98.2 or 38.2. And then if we lose those, then a bit lower.
Well, we'll be back. We'll be back next week to take a closer look at it. We'll see. Hopefully, we get some resolution one way or the other.
Yeah, like I'm hoping this weekend we can start carving some kind of structure and we hold this level. This is a pretty critical area, in my opinion, for the markets to hold there. So let's see. Fingers crossed.
Well, I mean, outside of the war, everything is pretty bullish for crypto right now.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like we had such good momentum, and then we just kind of got hit with like a very unfortunate event. And that's the markets, right? Like you can never really plan for these things. And generally TA, it gets thrown out the window when there's like big fundamental events and stuff. So now we're just resetting the clock in a sense. Indicators are coming back down into, areas of interest. And then again, we are in the reload zone again. When we look at Ethereum, for example, we are also back in the reload zone. This is where we're going to want to see some kind of support start stepping in. We'll know that it's ready to turn once we have some kind of W. Ideally, we don't lose these lows. And then obviously these are kind of like the ultimate lows right there. That's kind of right where that 38.2 is. So, if we can hold that, that'd be great. Otherwise, you know me, I like to hunt these reload zones. So that's kind of what I'm looking at.
a long ways down for ETH.
I hope not, because man, that would be the end of the alt market. Yeah.
Well, I don't know any other top charts you want to take a look at here.
Yeah, we can look at some equities. I think looking at equities is always good. We're so close to breaking all-time highs on the Nasdaq and S&P that I honestly do feel like we are going to be able to reach there. As you can see, we are sitting right against the 13 EMA as major support, but you can see that the two moving averages that I have here, the 13 EMA is the orange, 30 SMA is the purple. They're getting closer and closer to maybe possibly crossing. Once those cross, that's a pretty bearish sign. And, if you look at momentum, like, there are bear divs, we are overbought, possible double top coming in on the Dow already. And then same with the Russell 2000. It's kind of possibly turning into a double top here as well. So, if equities also start breaking down here, it's going to be a hard chance for crypto to rally. But I do feel like, we are at support. So, we are still in an uptrend as well, technically. I do feel like they're going to try to break these highs before they dump it because we're so close at this point. But again, there's all this like, macro event, this like war stuff that's like kind of causing a bit of a problem.
What, chances of World War III and a nuclear war got the market a little shaky on.
Yeah. So, that's not fun for anyone.
No.
And then as you can see, looking at alt indexes, alts are getting kind of beat up here right now. Stablecoin dominance is perking back up, as you can see. So a lot of fear in the market still. But, fear is not always a bad thing because, like, generally you want to be buying when markets are in complete fear, right? Not saying that you should go buy out stuff right now, but I think, if you start hunting setups and start looking for, charts that have, the momentum, the location, the structure, then I think you can start finding some good bids. But personally for me right now, I'm not really seeing much. Like, it's a lot of stuff's just kind of going sideways or just going straight down. So I think we just have to wait again. Hopefully this weekend we can start seeing some consolidation, especially in ETH and Bitcoin, and then things will slowly start perking back up.
Right on. Well, yeah, I think we've been saying sit on your hands, play the waiting game for a long time now, and fortunately, I think continue to be the recommendations.
Yeah, like I'm still following the Jan barometer study, and it does show that there's an expected dip. So I think this is kind of what we're seeing right now. And then by like July 1st, usually after Independence Day, the market kind of perks right back up. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. It's like maybe this next 2 weeks, we just have to kind of just like chill, consolidate, go sideways for a bit. And then after that Independence Day, long weekend, the markets come back with some euphoria. As long as we don't get any kind of unexpected, like, news about some tariff shit or like, someone gets bombed again,
Yeah, I'm a bit concerned, a bit skeptical that
Yeah.
we're gonna make it through with completely unscathed. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, I guess we'll flip over into some news stories here. We've got U.S. national debt breaking $37 trillion. Congrats to those who celebrate. I mean, it's absolutely insane. But this is the real reason we're all here. This is the real reason.
That's crazy.
The fiat system is absolutely out of control. And no end in sight. So, and because of that, we've been showing stories week after week after week here of crazy Bitcoin adoption. This week might actually be the biggest one yet. It seems that every single company in the world is fighting over each other to be the next one to announce a Bitcoin strategy of some sort. Billions and billions of dollars coming into the market. Fold. I mean, I don't even know a lot of these companies. Fold, Spain's largest bank, coming in here. Russian banks issuing bonds backed by Bitcoin. This is all within like the last couple days. Similar Scientific, buying 100,000, 105,000 Bitcoin. Bhutan's government buying Bitcoin.
What?
Payments giant Klarna, worth $15 billion. They're going to start accepting Bitcoin and crypto. They've got 100 million users around the globe. Healthcare firm buying 20 million. I mean, literally, like, goes on and on and on. DDC Enterprise. There's like a million stories this week of Bitcoin adoption. It's starting to get insane.
It's like, it kind of scares me because like, is this a bubble? like once you get all these like big leagues starting to like ape in, they always say like you want to follow institutional money, but I feel like this is starting to become a little bit dangerous because like it's too bullish. Like everybody is so gung ho bullish, and like Bitcoin is at like all-time high prices, like pretty much still. And the fact that they're all aping right now, kind of alarming in a way. But at the same time too, like if you talk to like retail, like most retail people aren't like buying Bitcoin. Like a lot of my normie friends don't even care about crypto and Bitcoin. So it seems like it's just like institutions that are like going gung ho here. Yeah,
retail interest in crypto is, I think, at cycle lows right now. So I think we're going to continue to see crazy institutional adoption, government adoption from around the world. And I think it just sets us up. I don't know if it's going to happen immediately this summer, but this fall or whenever we get back into the up season, it's going to be explosive.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I mean, all these institutions are setting up the play. Everyone's loading up on the Bitcoin and making it easy, accessible. It's just so funny that everybody's starting to buy Bitcoin. Like all the institutions are starting to slowly buy Bitcoin now. It's kind of funny.
Well, and we're starting to see some real actual adoption kind of happening behind the scenes. We've said for a long time, it's going to happen like the internet happened, right? Like when it gets to the point where it's a one-touch app on your phone and you don't have to know how the internet works to use it. That's when it got popular. Same thing with crypto. All this new Genius Act, the stablecoin regulation. Since they've passed that, we've seen JP Morgan announce they're doing a stablecoin. Amazon and Walmart are looking into doing stablecoins.
No way.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Coinbase just integrated with Stripe, so you can now on Spotify or Shopify, excuse me, you can buy with your stable coins. There's all sorts of all these little things happening in the background where pretty soon we're going to be using crypto rails to pay for things without even knowing that we're doing it. That's where we're going to start to see huge retail adoption. The trick will be for those of us that are here now, finding which companies are going to benefit from this the most in crypto.
BlackRock.
Yeah, exactly. Where can we stick our shekels to see some nice 10x's from this onboarding that's coming?
Yeah.
More Bitcoin adoption here. Mark Cuban, apparently Trump is making a phone, which I was unaware of, but the phone is potentially going to have built-in Bitcoin and crypto wallets. I don't know. I think I'd rather get the X phone than the Trump phone, but either of those are going to be out anytime soon, but they'll both should have crypto in it. X also announcing today that Elon's pushing forward with his plans for the super app. They will have all kinds of payment rails as well as crypto rails built right into X as a platform. We'll be able to use X apparently as a crypto wallet as well as buy whatever. I'm assuming they'll have food delivery orders on there. You'll have access to Amazon, et cetera, all through the X account.
Crazy.
Just Bitcoin news after Bitcoin news after Bitcoin news. I don't know how many of these stores I even wanted to pull up. It's kind of beating a dead horse at this point. But all week, my feed's been just nonstop Bitcoin adoption. It's pretty insane to see.
Yeah, I would say the best bet is just buy Bitcoin. Like if you're new into crypto and you don't know what to invest in, just do Bitcoin. Like clearly all of this adoption stuff that's happening right now is focused on Bitcoin, and institutions are mainly just buying Bitcoin, it looks like.
Plus,
so I feel like Bitcoin is the most easiest bet.
Plus you can buy Starbucks and Shake Shack with Bitcoin, so
amazing.
They're making it easier in some places to spend your Bitcoin. Bitcoin, of course, falls under capital gains tax regulations in many jurisdictions, including the U.S. So people are looking at, if we want to use Bitcoin as a currency, which in my opinion, it's not meant to be used as a currency, but we can have that argument another time. But a major roadblock to that is, okay, if I go to spend Bitcoin, it's technically considered creating a taxable transaction where you'd be charged capital gains tax to go and buy a burger, which nobody wants to pay capital gains tax on top of the other, whatever fast food tax in your state is. So Ohio passing a law, any Bitcoin spending under $200 will not be subject to capital gains tax. So if you're a part of the Bitcoin believers that want to see Bitcoin used as a currency, this kind of stuff probably very bullish for you. I'm in the other camp. I don't think people should be spending Bitcoin on anything. I think Bitcoin should be used as a tool to appreciate capital, not to be spent on fucking coffee and shit.
Yeah, especially when the U.S. debt is at 37 trillion and only growing. Bitcoin is it's supposed to be like inflation protection,
Yeah.
Definitely would rather just hold it.
We literally celebrate Bitcoin Pizza Day every year. People laugh about how the dude spent 10,000 Bitcoin on a pizza. And now we're encouraging people to do the exact same thing, spend your Bitcoin on fucking Starbucks and shit. Get out of here. Come on.
Yeah, crazy.
Can't take you seriously when we do that. I mean,
I wonder if that guy that took that 10,000 Bitcoin still holds that.
I looked into it this year. I don't think he has. So originally he sold a lot of it to actually pay for the pizza or to refund the money for the pizza. I don't think either guy is super wealthy anymore. I looked him up.
Damn.
So major fumble.
Yeah.
I mentioned a bit here about the Genius Act passing. I'm not 100% sure what's in there. Probably not good in the long term, but in the short term, I think definitely bullish for crypto. We've already, we talked a little earlier, Walmart, Amazon, JP Morgan, all filing for their own stable coins coming out here.
Oh, great. Give the central banks more power.
Well, I think, I've seen some people speculating there's going to be, a war of the stable coins. We're going to have, 1,000 different stable coins on chain to choose from. I don't think that's going to be the case. I mean, there's definitely will be more stable coins. We'll see USDT and USDC at the top still, but we'll have some additional viable choices. But Amazon isn't launching a stable coin to compete with USDT. They're launching a stable coin for internal purposes. Like they're the whole reason that for these people on ramping into blockchain via stable coins like JP Morgan, because it's much more efficient, saves up to 85%. I've seen as high as 85% of fees on traditional payment rails like Visa, MasterCard, which by the way, their stocks are falling fast now that all this stable coin stuff is happening. But Amazon's going to use it to save money internally. They're probably going to incentivize you to use their coin on their app to pay for things. But you're not going to be using it to like you would USDT. You probably won't be, doing yield farming strategies with it. You're not going to be, using it as buying Bitcoin or other things on DEXs. It's mainly meant to be used internal. Same thing for, JP Morgan. Their stable coin isn't going to be set up to compete with USDT. It's meant to save them shitloads of money, probably billions of dollars a year in fees when they're sending, transactions all around the world every other second.
Right. Okay. Interesting.
So, I mean, yeah.
I wonder if Visa and MasterCard are going to do their own stablecoin.
They might have to. I think I got the story here somewhere.
No way. Get out of here.
No, not doing stable coins yet, but
okay.
I saw an article earlier today. Their stocks are down like 5% since the announcement of the Genius Act going through.
Wow. Crazy.
So yeah, TradFi financial rails are going to be massively disrupted by this.
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean, even China, who's been very hostile towards crypto, especially in recent years. JD.com, which is their biggest retailer, apparently. I've never heard of this company before, but they've applied for an international stablecoin license. So I think we're going to see this as a trend. Any major corporation out there, I think retail focused, anything in the financial markets, you're going to see start to offer their own stable coins. It's just a much more capital efficient way to do business than using the US dollar and traditional payment rails.
Yeah, it's cool to see. I mean, it's like new currencies are coming out now.
Yeah,
essentially, and they're being respected and valued. Yeah, pretty interesting to see.
Yeah, I mean, it's a long time in the works, and I think this is very validating for crypto as a whole. Like getting out of the kind of, blockchain and crypto as a whole has a pretty scammy kind of, when you ask your average normie retail friends, this legitimizes it a lot. Seeing, when they're going to their bank and their bank is using crypto, using the blockchain rails, it gives going to get a lot of legitimacy to this industry, and I think that's going to help with more retail adoption and bring some of the retail money back in as well.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, we hope anyways.
Some fresh liquidity right now.
Well, I think you'll like this story here. I don't think we talked about this yet. We've seen in the past, obviously, MicroStrategy has their Bitcoin approach, and a lot of companies adopting Bitcoin or some similar strategy, whether buying spot or we talked about on Tuesday Cardano and their Bitcoin strategy. We've started to see the Ethereum strategic reserve. We've covered that on here. A lot of different companies taking positions in Ethereum. We talked about BitTensor. More and more alts are getting their own MicroStrategy approach from major TradFi buyers. And the most recent one here is Hyperliquid, the absolute king of DeFi right now. But a NASDAQ listed Inovia, no idea what they do, but they're raising $15 million to launch their own Hyperliquid treasury strategy. Pretty cool stuff here.
Very, very interesting.
We might expect hype. Yeah. We might get an all season yet, but instead of being, retail driven, we might see institutional driven alt FOMO. Like how wild is that?
I mean, this is cool because I love hype. Like it's one of my biggest bags. It was one of the best airdrops I've ever seen in all of crypto. And it's a great product. Like, DEX wise, it works great. Trades are fine. Fees are low enough. And I do feel like in terms of like the altcoin market, hype's done extremely well. And the price is still holding up pretty decently. I'm actually looking to buy some more and pretty much add to my position. But this is cool. It's cool to see that the institutions are actually recognizing hype now as well.
Yeah.
Very bullish for hype, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think it's bullish for the alts overall. Like, think how crazy of a blow off alt season could we get if we have TradFi NASDAQ listed entities coming in and buying 50, 100, $200 million chunks of top alts.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, that would get some serious FOMO going here.
Yeah.
What was the last story? We talked a little bit about, not kind of a nothing burger, exactly what we expected from Jay Powell yesterday. But I just thought this was fun. Trump calling him the dumbest and most destructive person in the government. That's
Jesus. Oh my God.
So if we got nothing else out of the FOMC meeting yesterday, we got a banger of a tweet. So
man, it's just so funny to see a president like tweet. Especially like in this kind of language. Like wow.
Too late, Jerome Powell is costing our country hundreds of billions of dollars. He's truly one of the dumbest, most destructive.
Like that's so crazy. Wow.
I love
what
it.
What a world we live in, man.
Yeah. What else? I mean, we got a couple other just kind of fun stories to cover here if we want. 14 years ago, Bitcoin flash crashed from $17 down below a cent. $100 a bit bought at that time would be worth $1.4 billion today.
God damn, dude.
That's some.
Okay,
That's some.
I've had a similar situation like this happen to me on Kraken a long time ago. Kraken, if you traded XBT to CAD, which is like the Bitcoin to Canadian dollar, they had really thin liquidity at the time. And so like me and my friend who actually got me into crypto, we were just goofing around. We set like stink bids, and like we put like some buys around like $1,000 and stuff like that. And one day out of the blues, somebody fat fingered the order and essentially took the price of Bitcoin to $1, and then it went right back to 11K.
Oh,
so like
shit.
me and my friend instantly made a 10x, and we're like, what? What just happened? And so like sometimes like if you're on these exchanges and just setting like a stink bid, like if you just have capital laying there and like not doing anything, just place it, because you might get lucky. There might be somebody who just triggers something wrong, or something happens in the code. Like you can get pretty lucky sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine getting $1 Bitcoin right now.
Oh my God. It's gonna be insane. Oh man.
I'd sell both my kidneys.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll round it out here with a little kind of like a positive outlook. Markets might be going down. We're not sure. There's lots of crazy stuff going on in the world right now. A lot of uncertainty in the markets. We might have double topped here. We could be in for a long sideways market. But if you zoom out, you look back, just even, what was this, 2022, 3 years ago, Bitcoin was 15K at the yearly lows. Now we're sitting over 100K. So, always got to remember to zoom out, and if things ain't so bad, even if we do come back down into the 90s or the upper 80s, I've rewind, a little over a year ago, 2 years ago in the bear market, when we were at 15K and couldn't even dream of 100K Bitcoin. So, always gonna be more opportunities.
I think so too. You just have to follow there's like the 4-year cycle thing, right? Like just follow the Bitcoin halving thing, and you'll be okay. And like, when I first got into like investing and trading, they always told me that like you have to think in like 5 to 10 year horizons. That's like the best and most ultimate way of generating wealth. Not doing trades day to day, not doing trades for like 1 to 2 months. You got to think about it in like a 5 to 10 year horizon. So, this is a great example of that, where like every 5-10 years, it like doubles, triples, quadruples, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, in the next 5 years from here, like if we're at 100K, where could we go? I don't know. Maybe $500,000, like people joke about like $1 million Bitcoin. we might see that one day. You never know. Maybe in 10 years, maybe in 15 years, maybe next year. I don't know. But if that happens, if we get $1 million Bitcoin, that also means like inflation has gotten so bad that we're gonna be spending like $100 on just buying an egg.
Yeah.
So
yeah, $1 million Bitcoin. I think it's definitely very possible. I think it's becoming more of a when, not an if, especially with all this, this institutional adoption that we're seeing. And I think RWA plays a huge factor if they start, bringing everything like on chain. I think that that $1 million number is maybe not as far off as we think.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
cool. Well, thanks for tuning in, everybody. We appreciate it. We'll be back here next Tuesday. If you are in the market for OTC or M&A, definitely check out our newsletter. It goes out every Monday, covering some of the hottest deals on both acquisitions and the OTC market. You can also check out our deal flow channel on Telegram. We post all of our, or at least our public deals there. We do have a private book as well. If you'd like to get a look at that private book, you can get in contact with our team on Telegram. Is usually the easiest place. We can do the NDA and all the paperwork stuff, and we'll let you kind of see behind the curtain what's going on there with some of these hotter deals in the acquisition space.
perfect. Thanks
Awesome.
for tuning in, everyone. See you guys next week.
See you Tuesday.
Have a good weekend.